He's Ash.
He's David. And this is the Artful Pose.
Well, hello everybody. This is Ash from the Artful Pose, and today we are going to review Marvel Legends Spider-Man Retro Card Cardiac. Most of you don't know, Cardiac was a relatively short-term 90s, early 2000s type of villain who is a guy who has a suit and has electrical type of abilities, who kind of balances between good and bad at times. So, let's look at this figure. So those who have read the comics and know him, well, I'm pretty sure this is one of those figures, and those, I should say, those characters that we have wanted, but have never gotten in an action figure form, and voila. Hasbro actually delivers on a Cardiac figure. I remember back in the day, I used to have some coloring pages, I think, as a kid, with this character, along with the trading cards. If those who remember the Spider-Man trading cards back in the day, you could put them all together in a 4-in-1 picture. Cardiac was one of those. And so, we finally have him now in action figure form. And I have to admit, I'm happy. I absolutely love all the fine detail work, including the paint apps. He is a nice, interesting looking figure, and let's get into the detail. So, you notice that here on the back, I'm sorry about that, it's an entirely separate sculpted piece to really emphasize the armor aspect of it. I love how the collar and even, let me get a zoom up, see on the face? That's all sculpted work in there. And yeah, the paint apps are a tiny bit messy, but nothing I'm gonna shake. But you notice how when I angle it, even the lips start to clean up. But that is a sweet figure. I love the inclusion of the wrist pouches. Very 90s, those who know. I mean, look at all that. It's like pouches on top of pouches. It's like got like the whole Jim Lee early 90s design all over it. So, that detail work is amazing on him. And what does he come with? Well, he comes with his signature baton, or bow staff if you want to call it that, which he can hold very easily. And this is one thing that I very much absolutely adore that Hasbro does, is giving appropriate articulation for this. So with that being said, let's get into it. So he's got a great range. Can't look up that far because there's no hinge joint up in the neck. It's a pure ball joint. So you can do some head nods as such. You can look up that far, which I'm a little disappointed in because I would expect him to look really far up to see Spider-Man swinging overhead. But beggars can't be choosers in some aspects, especially for a character as obscure as Cardiac. Hey, I'm not going to complain that much. One thing I want to tell you about is these shoulder pads, which is, if you have a Wolverine, a more recent Wolverine, I would say in the past 2 years. Yeah, in about 2 years, a year to 2 years. Hasbro has now implemented this new aspect of their toy design, where the shoulder pad, I don't know if you can see it from the camera, right there, this back armor kind of hides it, but it's a piece that feeds the peg from the shoulder, feeds into, and then is socketed in, and then it's a ring that extends and holds the shoulder pad in place, which is great because it doesn't inhibit articulation. So I can do a full rotation all the way around, and the shoulder pad is not inhibiting the articulation. I will say this though, be careful because the peg that goes into the bicep right here is relatively short. So if you get your Cardiac and you open him up and he's pretty darn stiff and you need to do some heat treatment on him to avoid any breakage, be careful with the bicep peg. It's relatively short and it tends to pop right off if you're not careful. The peg that goes into the shoulder, it is slightly ratcheted, so goes click, 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 click. So just a heads up that that can put some wear on the peg joint inside. He does not have a waist swivel. Sorry about that. Let's say that 5 times fast. But he can rotate right there at the rib cage, which, to be dead honest, I like that so much more. It just feels so much more natural. Don't get me wrong, there are some waist swivels that do work great for a figure, and in this case, I think in order to keep the complete aesthetic of the suit, this right there, perfect, because nothing, all the little electrical black bolty type of lines are all still kept in place. It seems that this, it's a separate piece, but it's pretty darn solid. He can do splits that far apart, double jointed knees, and because of the armor piece, no pegs, and it hides the knee joint very well. Does have ankle rockers, which I think is like standard issue now. There is no boot cut, just a heads up. I cannot rotate that for the life of me, and I think that's because of these pouches. They don't want to ruin that aesthetic or have them wear out over time, so no twisty on this. The other thing that he came with is his electrical blast, the actual cardiac part. So it comes in as these 2 pieces. Almost looks like shattered blown glass if you think about it, but anyway, they have 2 sockets roundabout like this, and maybe I got it backwards. Okay. So it's got the big hole on one side, a little hole on the other side. If I can get it on there. Maybe I got it just wrong. Shows you that I don't know what I'm doing, just trying to fiddle with it. There we go. Technical difficulties trying to get an effect on there. Okay, so there you go. Now, if I remember correctly, it should be more on the edge. Let's see if I can get it to do that. Here we go. So, now back to articulation. He does come with multiple hands. He does come with closed fist hands. However, you're probably not going to want to switch them out too much because these are pretty much already closed, but they have the side hinge swivel, which is fantastic for a dual weapon, which he can hold ever so nicely, and then we can get that nice cattle prod type of action. Bzz, bzz. Pretty cool. Yeah, overall, I have to admit, I like the figure. If you're planning on getting him, if you know who the character is and you remember him from when you're back in your comic book reading days, or if you're still reading and you're just getting to know this, I still think he's a great figure. So let's do some quick size comparisons. I got some figures right here. So let's start off with his main nemesis, Spider-Man. So here we have the Hasbro Marvel Legends Maximum Series Spidey. I'm gonna put him on this side. So they stack up pretty well. It's a decent height. Go well with your regular Marvel Legends. So this is obviously a given. We know he's to scale with other Marvel Legends. Let's try non-Marvel Legends in case you want to get a little creative with your posing. As David would say, cross metaphors. So let's do with DC. So now here we have the Batman from Batman Incorporated from McFarlane DC Multiverse. He's a bit tall. So as you can clearly tell, if you have a 7-inch scale type figure, whether it be NECA or McFarlane, he stands a little bit on the short side in comparison to those. But hey, I'm not going to be height restrictive on this. There's your comparison. Let's go with Super7's Ultimates. I got one of these. Let's do it with another metaphor. If I can get his weapon inside. Here we have Tigra from Thundercats. So this is relatively just a slightly bigger scale. Get this little whip down. So there you go. He can suit up. I always expected, or would assume, Thundercat characters are always a little bit taller than normal humans, since they are not. So there you go. There's your comparison with a Super 7 figure. So there you have it. Cardiac from the Retro Card series from Hasbro Marvel Legends. Alright. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Leave any of your comments down in the comment section below. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, this is Ash from The Artful Pose. Please make all your poses artful. Bye.
Hey boys and girls, David here. Thanks so much for watching our latest video. We really appreciate it. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to see us cover something, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And tell us how you think we're doing, where we can improve. Because if we don't improve, then we end up like this Sentinel here, and it looks like he's got a headache and somebody beat him up. And nobody wants to get beaten up. So let's make sure that Ash and I don't get beaten up. So, hey, thanks again. Let us know what you think. See you next time.